The Suscon Screamer is a haunting tale from Susquehanna, Pennsylvania, which revolves around a chilling urban legend. The story is often linked to the area around the Susquehanna River and has drawn the attention of locals and paranormal enthusiasts alike. According to the legend, the Suscon Screamer is the spirit of a woman who met a tragic fate. It's said that she was once a resident of the area, and her life ended in a horrific manner often recounted as a violent death or a crime of passion. Her spirit is said to roam the woods, emitting an eerie scream that can be heard echoing through the trees, especially at night. Witnesses have reported hearing the scream while hiking or camping near Susquehanna, describing it as a bone-chilling sound that sends shivers down the spine. Some claim it sounds like a desperate cry for help, while others describe it as a wail filled with anguish. The sound is often said to be so unnerving that it can cause an immediate sense of dread. Many who have sought out the location have experienced unexplained phenomena, such as sudden temperature drops, feelings of being watched, or strange shadows moving in the corner of their vision. The combination of these eerie experiences and the haunting scream has led to a growing mythos surrounding the Suscon Screamer, making it a popular topic among ghost hunters and those fascinated by the paranormal. While some dismiss the stories as mere folklore, others believe there's a kernel of truth in the legend, urging locals to respect the area and its history. The tales serve as a reminder of the past and the lingering spirits that may still inhabit the woods, echoing the grief of a life cut short. If you find yourself near Susquehanna, Pennsylvania, especially on a quiet night, you might just hear the faint echoes of the Suscon Screamer, a ghostly reminder of the mysteries that still linger in the shadows of the past. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting an eerie glow over the Susquehanna woods, a group of friends set out on a camping trip, drawn by the legends of the Suscon Screamer. Equipped with flashlights, cameras, and an insatiable curiosity, they arrived at a clearing near the river, the air thick with anticipation and a hint of unease. They set up their campsite, laughter and chatter filling the night as they prepared for an evening around the fire. Yet, as darkness enveloped the woods, the playful atmosphere began to shift. The trees loomed taller and denser, their branches creaking in the breeze, and an unsettling silence settled over the area. "Do you think we'll actually hear the scream?" Sarah asked, her eyes sparkling with both excitement and trepidation. "Maybe," replied Mark, trying to sound nonchalant. "But it's probably just a legend. People love to tell spooky stories." The group settled in around the fire, sharing ghost stories and urban legends. Each tale seemed to amplify the tension in the air, the night growing heavier with an unspoken fear. As the fire flickered, shadows danced on the trees, and the temperature dropped, sending shivers down their spines. Then, just as the conversation began to wane, a chilling wind swept through the clearing, causing the flames to flicker wildly. It was then they heard it, a distant sound, a high-pitched wail that pierced the stillness of the night. The friends exchanged nervous glances, their laughter dying in their throats. "What was that?" Jenna whispered, her voice barely audible. "Probably just an animal," Mark replied, though the uncertainty in his tone betrayed his bravado. But the sound came again, more distinct this time, a mournful cry that seemed to echo from deep within the woods. The chill in the air intensified, and a feeling of dread settled over them. "We have to check it out," Sarah said, her curiosity overcoming her fear. "We came here for the experience, right?" Reluctantly, the others agreed, and they grabbed their flashlights, forming a tight circle as they stepped away from the warmth of the fire. The forest seemed to close in around them, the darkness swallowing their path as they ventured deeper into the trees. As they moved cautiously, the wailing grew louder, weaving through the branches like a ghostly melody. The friends' hearts raced, the sound sending chills down their spines. They could feel the weight of the legend bearing down on them, the history of the screamer alive in the air. "Maybe we should turn back," Mark suggested, glancing nervously over his shoulder. But Sarah pressed on, leading the way, drawn to the sound as if it were calling to her. They finally reached a small clearing where the trees parted, revealing an ancient, gnarled tree at the center. Its twisted branches reached out like skeletal fingers, and beneath it lay remnants of what looked like a long-abandoned campfire, charred stones scattered around. As they approached the tree, the wailing transformed into an anguished cry, resonating through the clearing, sending waves of fear coursing through them. Jenna stumbled back, her breath catching in her throat. "We need to leave. This is too much." But before they could turn to retreat, the air thickened, and the temperature plummeted further. Shadows seemed to swirl around them, and the wailing transformed into a distinct voice, pleading and sorrowful. "Help me, please." The friends stood frozen, the chilling realization that they were not alone washing over them. The voice seemed to seep into their bones, compelling them to listen, to understand. "Is this the screamer?" Sarah murmured, fear mingling with a strange sense of compassion. Suddenly, a flicker of light caught their attention near the base of the tree. As they focused, they saw an ethereal figure emerging from the shadows, an apparition of a woman. Her face streaked with tears, her expression one of deep sorrow. She was dressed in tattered clothing, as if she had stepped straight from the pages of history. "Help me," she implored again, her voice trembling. "I am lost. I cannot find peace." The friends exchanged horrified glances, their minds racing. This was the Suscon Screamer, the embodiment of the legend they had come to explore, and she was begging for their help. "What do you want from us?" Mark managed to ask, his voice shaking. "Find my love," she whispered, a deep longing etched in her spectral features. "He waits for me, but I cannot go to him until my story is told." Realization dawned on the group. Emily's story was not just one of tragedy but also of unfulfilled love, a tale that had bound her spirit to the earth. They felt a mix of fear and empathy, knowing they were in the presence of a soul desperately seeking closure. "What happened to you?" Jenna asked softly, stepping closer. "We want to help." Emily's spirit flickered as she recounted her story, a tale of forbidden love, family conflict, and a desperate escape that had gone tragically wrong. She had been caught between the desires of her heart and the expectations of her family, leading to her untimely demise. As she spoke, the wailing subsided, replaced by a soft, sorrowful melody that resonated through the clearing. The friends felt compelled to listen, each detail drawing them deeper into her world, filling them with a sense of purpose. "Your love is still out there," Sarah said gently, her heart aching for the spirit before them. "We'll help you tell your story. We'll make sure you're remembered." The air seemed to shimmer with gratitude as Emily's spirit brightened, the heaviness of her sorrow slowly lifting. But the shadows around them still swirled, and the friends realized that they needed to act quickly before the darkness reclaimed her. "We need to perform a ritual," Mark suggested, glancing around for anything they could use. Something to honor her memory and release her spirit. They gathered materials from their surroundings, twigs, leaves, and stones, creating a small altar at the base of the tree. With trembling hands, they arranged the items, speaking words of love and remembrance, urging Emily to let go of her pain. As they worked, the wailing began to transform again, now filled with a sense of hope. The shadows receded, and the clearing brightened as if responding to their intentions. "Emily, you are not forgotten," Jenna called out, her voice steady. "Your love will always remain. We honor your story, and we release you to find peace." With each word, they felt a wave of warmth wash over them, the energy in the clearing shifting toward the light. Emily's spirit hovered above them, shimmering with a newfound brightness as the darkness around her began to dissolve. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice now filled with light. "Thank you for remembering me." And with that, as if a weight had been lifted, Emily's spirit ascended, radiant and free, leaving behind a lingering warmth that enveloped the friends. They stood in awe, hearts swelling with emotion as the clearing transformed, the air lighter and more vibrant. As they made their way back to the campsite, the night felt different, charged with a sense of peace and closure. They had not only encountered a legend, but had played a part in its resolution, ensuring that Emily's story would never fade into obscurity. From that night forward, the friends would carry the memory of the Suscon Screamer with them, telling her story to anyone willing to listen. They had given her a voice, honoring the love that had bound her spirit, and in doing so, They found their own lives enriched by the profound connection they had forged with the past. And sometimes, when the wind rustled through the trees, they swore they could hear a soft, joyful melody, a reminder that love endures, even beyond the veil of life and death. Don't forget to subscribe and like if you liked this story. As they settled back around the campfire, the friends felt an overwhelming sense of relief mixed with exhilaration. The night sky twinkled above them, stars shining more brightly than they ever had before. Yet, beneath that tranquility lay an undercurrent of unease, a lingering awareness that the woods held more secrets than they had uncovered. "Do you think she's really gone?" Jenna asked, gazing into the flames. "Or do you think she's still watching over us?" "I like to think she found peace," Mark replied, tossing another log onto the fire. "But there's something about this place. It feels like there are still stories waiting to be told." The others nodded in agreement, a shared sense of curiosity igniting once more. "Maybe we should explore the area more," Sarah suggested, her adventurous spirit reawakening. There could be more spirits like Emily, unfinished stories waiting for someone to listen. The group exchanged glances, a mix of excitement and trepidation washing over them. They had come seeking a thrill, but what they found had been much more profound. The idea of unearthing more untold tales was tempting, almost irresistible. With a newfound determination, they decided to explore the woods deeper the next day. They mapped out a plan, marking potential areas of interest on their phones and promising to return to the campsite before nightfall. As they turned in for the night, a sense of camaraderie enveloped them, but shadows still danced at the edges of their consciousness. That morning, the sun rose bright and warm, illuminating the forest in golden light. The friends gathered their gear and set out, their footsteps crunching on the leaves as they moved deeper into the woods. Each rustle of the trees felt charged, as if the very earth was alive with whispers of the past. As they hiked, they stumbled upon an old, dilapidated cabin, half hidden by overgrown foliage. It stood silent, its wooden frame weathered and worn, yet there was an undeniable energy emanating from it. "Do you think anyone lives here?" Jenna asked, peering inside the cracked windows. "Only the stories that remain," Sarah said, stepping forward. "Let's check it out." Inside, the cabin was dimly lit, dust motes floating in the beams of sunlight that filtered through the gaps in the walls. Old furniture lay scattered, and remnants of someone's life lingered: a tattered blanket, a rusted kettle, and a stack of faded books. The atmosphere felt heavy, the air thick with memories. As they explored, Mark found a weathered journal tucked beneath a loose floorboard. "Hey, check this out," he called, brushing off the dust. He opened it carefully, revealing pages filled with delicate handwriting. The entries chronicled the life of a woman named Margaret, who had lived in the cabin many decades ago. "Listen to this," Mark read aloud. "I hear the whispers in the woods, feel the presence of something or someone. I fear I am not alone." The group huddled closer, intrigued. "What do you think she meant?" Jenna asked, her eyes wide. Mark continued reading, the entries revealing Margaret's struggles and heartaches, her search for love and connection amidst isolation. "I can hear her cries at night, a haunting echo that pulls at my heart. I cannot find peace, but perhaps I can help her find hers." The room grew still as the weight of Margaret's words sank in. It was another story of longing, another tale woven into the fabric of the Susquehanna woods. "Do you think she was trying to help Emily?" Sarah wondered aloud. "Maybe they're connected somehow." "Seems likely," Mark replied, closing the journal. "If Margaret heard Emily's cries, perhaps she felt compelled to help, just like we did." The friends exchanged looks of determination. They had come seeking thrill and adventure, but now they felt a deeper purpose. "We need to honor Margaret's memory, too," Jenna declared. "She deserves to be remembered just as much as Emily." With a newfound mission, they decided to create a small memorial for Margaret right outside the cabin. They gathered stones and wildflowers, arranging them into a circle near the entrance. As they worked, they shared thoughts about Margaret's life, wondering what had become of her. "Maybe she never got the chance to help Emily," Sarah mused, placing a delicate flower in the center. "Maybe that's why she's still here, Once they completed the memorial, they stood back, taking in their handiwork. "This feels right," Mark said, a sense of peace washing over them. "It's like we're connecting the past to the present." But just as they were about to leave, a sudden chill swept through the cabin, and the air thickened. The friends exchanged worried glances, sensing an unsettling shift in the atmosphere. "Did you feel that?" Jenna asked, her voice barely a whisper. Before anyone could respond, they heard it, a low, mournful wail resonating from deep within the woods, echoing the sound they had heard the previous night. It was a cry that felt both familiar and foreign, reverberating through their bones. "Emily?" Sarah called out tentatively, her heart racing. "Is that you?" The wail intensified, rising and falling like a lament, swirling around them. It felt as though the woods themselves were alive, responding to the presence of something greater, something that wanted to be heard. "Let's go outside," Mark suggested, the urgency in his voice cutting through their confusion. They hurried out of the cabin, following the sound as it grew louder, guiding them deeper into the forest. As they ventured further, the trees began to thicken, their branches intertwining like fingers reaching for the sky. The wail transformed into a symphony of voices, overlapping and intertwining, creating an almost tangible presence around them. Suddenly, they stumbled upon a clearing, unlike any they had seen before. The ground was carpeted with wildflowers, vibrant and alive, and at its center stood a massive, ancient tree, a guardian of stories past. The wailing crescendoed, and the friends felt an overwhelming rush of emotions wash over them, a cacophony of sorrow and longing. They could see ethereal figures swirling among the flowers, their faces filled with a mix of grief and hope. "This must be where they gather," Jenna breathed, awestruck. "The spirits of those who never found peace." Mark stepped forward, his heart pounding. "We need to honor them, just like we did for Emily and Margaret. They're all connected." As they formed a circle around the ancient tree, they began to speak aloud, sharing the stories they had uncovered. They called out the names of Emily and Margaret, inviting the spirits to join them, to find solace in their words. One by one, the wailing softened, replaced by a gentle breeze that rustled through the leaves, almost as if the spirits were listening, absorbing the love and remembrance being offered. But just as the atmosphere shifted to one of calm, a deep, resonant voice broke through the stillness. "You have honored the past, but there is more to be done." The friends froze, the air crackling with energy. They turned toward the source of the voice, the shadows swirling around them. It felt as if they were on the brink of uncovering yet another story, one that had been waiting for someone brave enough to listen. The friends stood transfixed as the deep voice echoed around them, the shadows swirling closer, revealing an ethereal figure, a tall man, his expression solemn but kind. He appeared to be a guardian of the spirits, an entity who had witnessed the stories of those who had suffered and sought peace. "You have done well to honor Emily and Margaret," he said, his voice resonating like the wind through the trees. "But there are others still trapped by their pain, their stories left untold." With newfound purpose, the friends realized they could not only honor the past but also help guide these restless spirits toward freedom. They began to share the stories of all the souls they felt connected to, their words intertwining with the gentle breeze. As they spoke, the wailing transformed into soft whispers, the energy in the clearing growing lighter. One by one, the spectral figures emerged, gathering around the ancient tree, their faces shifting from sorrow to gratitude. The friends felt a wave of warmth enveloping them, the spirits responding to the love and remembrance being offered. As the final words left their lips, the clearing burst into radiant light. The spirits glowed with a brilliance that illuminated the forest, and the deep voice spoke again, filled with warmth. "You have set them free. Their stories will live on in your hearts." With that, the figures began to dissolve into the light, the burdens of their pasts lifting as they ascended. The friends stood in awe, feeling a profound sense of accomplishment and connection to something greater. As the light faded, the air felt lighter, the forest alive with the sounds of nature. They returned to their campsite, forever changed by the experience, knowing they had helped bring peace to the spirits of Susquehanna. That night, as they sat around the fire, they shared laughter and stories, each of them carrying a piece of the past with them. The legend of the Suscon Screamer had transformed into a tale of hope, love, and redemption, a reminder that every story deserves to be heard, and every soul deserves to find peace. Don't forget to subscribe and like if you liked this story.